All right, so this is working. All right, great. So hi everyone, I'm David. This is Jure. We're going to talk about usability, which is the organization we created a while back ago, a year and a half ago, called Usable Encryption with OTR. So yes, it's an OTR talk. We're going to go over OTR, the state of OTR, the ecosystem, and what's wrong and good about it. So shows of hand here who heard about OTR. So you heard about OTR. So I'm guessing you're using OTR, show of hands, every day? Great. Okay, so there's going to be a small introduction about what is OTR and what is the properties of OTR, but before that, we're going to introduce ourselves, of course. So I'm David Goulet. This is my Twitter and OTR key. The slide's going to be online anyway, so you can get it afterwards. Just a shameless plug before we start. I do work on TorSox, the new version of TorSox at Tor. I'm not employed by Tor, so I'm just a contributor. So please check it out, test it, use it. We've fixed a shitload of stuff. Our SSI OTR plugin has been rewritten from scratch also because it was unmaintained and had a huge amount of problems. Our SSI OTR plugin is hosted by cryptography. Kjackal, that's pretty nice. It's a small project of mine. It's a kernel rootkit scanner. Linux kernel rootkit scanner, it works on 3.13. You load the module, scans your kernel, and it checks if there's a rootkit. And finally, LTTNG is what I do in my day job. Linux Trace Toolkit, maybe some of you saw me yesterday at the LTTNG tracing talk. So please contribute, test them. It's pretty fun stuff. And Jure.
So my name is Jure van Bergen. I'm also known as Dr. Wax. I would actually like to add something about the ASC plugin we have been creating. If there are any ASC developers out there, we've been struggling with a bug for a long time. So if you're an IR, SSI, or ASC developer, please come later to us. We would like to have a chat with you. You left that in.
Yeah. All right, so what is OTR? Yeah, you hear me? So what is OTR? The Use OTR project, a small recap of what is a Use OTR project, how you can contribute, how you can help us. And then the state of OTR, and now afterwards. Is it nothing working? Great. So OTR is end-to-end encryption. It means it goes to client, and in between there's nothing going on for servers to see what's, to be involved in the encrypted communication. It provides 4 incredible attributes. This is why OTR is awesome, is that it's encryption, of course, authentication, so you know who you're talking to, deniability, and perfect forward secrecy. We're going to explain more in depth the deniability and perfect forward secrecy part, because those are the 2 main attributes that are very useful for OTR. So maybe some of you use this Pigeon. This is an example of the Pigeon OTR plugin that is maintained by actually Ian Goldberg, the guy who actually maintained the libOTR, the reference, and is also the guy who not created it, but is working extensively on that. So yeah, you got this. I think those are from the PressFreedomFoundation.org. Go see there. They have wikis and how-tos about that. Great stuff. So very unverified and private. So unverified, you're starting to create a chat with someone else, and you don't know if you're talking to that person, but you're encrypted. So you're unverified, but it's secure. But you're not sure. So at some point, you do a verification. Verification of fingerprints, which is kind of a tedious process, not very user-friendly, and you get to private. So the bottom one is where it says private. It means you're encrypted and verified. So you know you're talking to someone, to the person you're expecting to be. So OTR, a while back ago, introduced the Socialist Millionaire Protocol. This is pretty neat. You ask a question to the other person, and this question, only this person should be able to answer it. And the answer comes out. If it works, you're authenticated, you're verified. So this is the authentication part of OTR. Pretty useful. Every plugin that exists are supposedly supporting SMP. I think some of them are not. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and this is a good thing because often, and especially nowadays, journalists use a lot of tools, like for example, hopefully they use Tails, which is a live distribution using Tor, which doesn't leave any traces. So every time you boot up Tails, you have to generate a new key. And because you need to generate a new key, you can't verify that the people who uses a new key on that account is actually the same person you are talking to. So this is why SMP is really useful, because you can ask the person a question, even though they have a new fingerprint. So you can verify that the people you're talking to are the people you are talking to.
And we cannot stress this enough. Please do that every time you use OTRs. It's very important to verify the person in front of us. Or if you're trying to be anonymous, of course, don't verify it, right? All right, so then, perfect forward secrecy. So this is a very, very nice feature, and it has especially been being brought up in the public debate as of the Snowden era since 2013, where HTTPS now also support, of course, can use perfect forward secrecy. So basically, you had a session, you're transmitting messages, it's going well, and at some point, your keys get compromised. So this means that from that point on, every message you're going to create will be readable by the person you get your key. But perfect forward secrecy makes sure that the message previously, well, you can't do shit about it. That's the beauty of that. So it makes things much more harder for our friend up North America. So yeah, there you're gonna small schematic of what's going on perfect forward secrecy. So this is very, very important in terms of cryptographic and security standpoint of view, where it adds very strong cryptographic attributes and guarantee to your communication that are pretty much secure. So all right, so the deniability part. So OTR has been created with the deniability feature, which explains like this in lamest term. Hopefully we didn't make any mistake, because to be honest, we're not cryptographers at all. We're just developers. But basically, deniability means you are pretty sure, you're assured that you receive a message from Alice. So this is what OTR provides you as guarantee. But you can't prove that it's been written by Alice. So what's going on with that is, if you get compromised with OTR, for instance, your communication, well, mathematically, it can't be proven that you actually wrote the message. So yeah, it seems like a pretty nice feature, but actually we don't know if it's being used in court or legal battle at all. And if someone here knows only one case where OTR logs have been used, the deniability feature of OTR has been used, please raise your hand, come in front, speak up. It's very important. Because later on in the talk, we're going to talk about the multi-party OTR situation, and deniability is one of the big problems in there. All right, so yes, protocol agnostic. This is very important. Basically, OTR is just base 64 messages that are transmitted over any protocol. So if you want, you can create a Twitter OTR session. So this is very great. This is pretty great, pretty good feature. So this is why it's being implemented in a lot of protocol. RC, Jabber, XMPP, and all of those unknown protocol. Offers great security, of course. It's a peer review design, and I cannot stress this enough. You all open source people, yes, but peer review is very important. Collaboration is very important. And OTR for the last 10 years, exists for the last approximately the last 10 years. The design are peer reviewed, the design are checked, are worked in a collaboration on OTR mailing lists in the academics with cryptographers and developers. And this is a key feature where we know it's working, it's a good protocol, and there's a community around it. What we try to use with OTR is grow that community bigger, so stuff get maintained and don't have abandonware. And yeah, of course, open source.
And the good thing about it is that Edward Snowden is still alive because people use OTR, together with Glenn Greenwald and Laura Poitras and Jacob Appelbaum and a lot of other journalists around the world will use it. So thanks to OTR, which we know we work, Edward Snowden has said that it can be cracked by the NSA, as of yet, as we know. It's good stuff, as we can see, because people are still alive and working continuously.
Yeah, I was told last night, OTR fucking works because Edward Snowden is still alive, as he said. Use OTR project, Jure.
So, back in December 2012, we have been working on, and even before, we've been working on securing existing clients. For example, Pitchin and Adium, which are based on libpurple. We found out that these clients are being used quite a bit by a lot of people, and we've been hearing quite a lot from the security community that although Pitchin is a really great client and it has a lot of functionality, not always usable for everyone, but it has a lot of support for protocols, it has some security issues. So we have been auditing some stuff, and we found a lot of awful bugs, I have to say. And at that point in time, we were like, gosh, if this is going to be so easy, we're just going to submit 1,000 patches, and it's going to be a secure client in a year, and everybody can use it. Turns out, it was a bit harder than we thought it would be. We found 11 bugs in the Windows build alone, which means every dynamic library was compromised. The oldest bugs was 6 years old, which was pretty good. So then we submitted some patches, and we said, hey, if you're just going to ship with new libraries, you should be okay. Unfortunately, that patch took 6 months for Pitchin to ship. I have no idea why. Maybe they lacked a lot of people. I'm not sure. So in February 2011, they shipped the security update. So at that point in time, we were like, gosh, is this still a good idea to mainly focus on the security of the existing clients? And then we were like, probably not, because if we have to audit, and we'll come back to that later in our talk, if we have to audit 300,000 lines of code, that's going to be kind of an issue in C. So we decided to take another route at that point in time, and just to say, hey, why don't we write a new chat client with usability, privacy, anonymity, and encryption by default, which is going to be really minimal. It's going to be usable. We want to work with usability people. We want to bridge gaps with journalists, with the end users quite a bit, translators. And then we were like, well, there's some other stuff as well, and that is that we want to grow the OTR community. So at the moment, we are kind of involved into coming up with ways to make this all better and make the protocols work, the new protocols, like, for example, multi-party off-the-record messaging, having discussions about deniability, how we can improve the client, and what do people need from a new chat client in a really digital age where everybody is on this mobile and having sending a message, and then 15 minutes later you're sending another message. It's really asynchronous. It's not so synchronous as it was maybe 6 or 7 years ago. So we have changed our mission throughout 1.5 years, and I think what we have now is we're going to be stuck with this for
Fixing everything.
Fixing everything.
Yeah. Me to go in?
Yeah. So as we've said, usability is the name of the game because usability is actually a security feature. So for example, some clients make it, it's not always a client issue. It's that sometimes security principles are hard to grasp for the end user. So for example, if you start an OTR conversation and after you're done with the OTR conversation and the person is still online, you finish it. So the other person finishes the OTR conversation and the other people says, oh, it's finished, but if I'm going to send a message, it will say that the OTR conversation is finished and I actually can't send the message. So what does the user do? They will start up Skype or some other client and start chatting with that thing. And that's when you lose the OTR property because you're not using OTR anymore. You are using a normal chat client, and that's fucked up. Then you lose the security of the end user. So usability is a security feature. And we would actually like,
Sorry.
Yeah, we would like to have more discussions with people who have been working on chat clients, for example, like Pitchin, libpurple, Pitchin, Adium, and Jitsi, and there's countless of others. I think CryptoCat is a pretty good example of how a chat client can actually work, and it's pretty usable for the end user, at least more than all the others. Maybe it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. So we would like to have more discussions with developers about usability and also about some security bugs we have found in some clients. So if there are any Jitsi people, for example, in the room, we would like to have a chat with you later on.
Yeah. No, well, no.
No?
Need to talk about that slide.
About?
That slide. Yeah. So as Judy said, usability is very important. I'm pretty sure, like in the last years, everyone has been hearing that, been hammered about that, listening about that. So now the state of OTR. This is the OTR ecosystem in terms of standalone IAM clients. So there we go. You have Cyplus, ADM on Mac, of course, Pigeon, RSSI, Jitsi. So all of those uses custom plugin. So OTR plugins are created for that application alone. And so some of them use implementation from Java, the OTR4G, the Jitsi, for instance, I think, and the Guardian project, if you know, the mobile area. I have another slide for mobile, though. Or they use the label OTR. Label OTR is a C implementation, an API. But they all created, there's no like best practices of creating a plugin. You just use the library and you try to understand what Ian wrote in the comments section, and that's it. So what happened is when we took a look at this situation in the IAM's client, it turns out that most of the clients, except for some of them, the most commonly used, the Pigeon, ADM, Cyplus is being maintained also. Well, actually, the plugins are not maintained, or they're badly broken, they're not maintained, or there's one person sometimes trying to work on that. And this is actually a big issue, because as OTR progress, and actually it doesn't progress that fast, but when it's usually changes version or protocol version, well, those plugins needs to follow, because else there's a huge amount of problem and security problem. So this is one of the reasons we need your help, just to help maintain this thing. So for instance, there's the OTR RFC that is being started by, what is his name, Peter St-Pierre?
Peter and Paul Waters.
And Paul Waters. It started on the GitHub there. If you want to add contribution or reviewed, great, an OTR RFC, so we can then have clean request for comment and use and implement or OTR well. The DANE authentication also, it's a draft from Paul Wooters. Yesterday there's this talk about DNS, DANE and DNS authentication. I think it's a postfix talk. That was great. This is the same for OTR fingerprints. So again, please review those drafts, check those drafts. They're pretty interesting. Yes, so we're gonna have two slides about Pigeon and in purple, and Yoda is gonna explain why. And just to show you the issue here.
Yeah, so as I've been telling previously, we've been looking into Pigeon and how we can, make things better. So what we found out is that Pigeon is just a bit more than 300,000 lines of C code, which is quite a bit of code. As you can see, if you look at the Tor code size, which is for just a Tor binary alone, it's about 120,000 lines of code. So it's almost 2.5 times, 3 times the size of Tor. And I think Pigeon, do we count plugins in? Or is this just the base?
It's the old Pigeon code repository, yeah. So it's libpurple, the Pigeon and stuff.
Libpurple Pigeon, which is quite a bit of stuff there. And of course, it also has to be multi-party, so that's why I think it's a bit bigger than average. But as you can see, it's quite a bit of C code. So I've been auditing, the internals, and it has a lot of dependencies and other stuff. So we've been auditing that stuff, and I think it's a bit too big at the moment. Could you do the next?
The next slide?
Yes.
Yeah.
So since then, this actually came out, I think, a few days ago, which was a pretty good talk about somebody putting in 2 days of his own time into auditing Pigeon and fixing some bugs and submitting patches. A security patch also went out, I think. So since 2005, it had about 60 CVEs. So we've been auditing mainly the 2.0 code base, which is it's getting old, it's getting a bit sloppy. The 3 is upcoming, and I'm really hopeful for that. Apparently, it's going to look cleaner as well, and it looks better. So I'm really looking forward. And from what I've seen, it looks more structured, and it looks like they cleaned up a lot of old code and made it better. So I'm really hopeful that Pigeon 3.0 is going to change a lot of things, because it's shipped by a lot of distributions, and it works on multi-platform, on Windows and on Linux. So actually, could I see some hands who uses Pigeon? Yeah. Okay. Yeah, we need to fix this.
Right. So there's one point is very, very important, is that if there's purple in the room or Pigeon in the room, it's very important to we need to talk about it. We're not bashing Pigeon at all. The Pigeon situation here is that security is not their focus of development. And so it's not an issue of they do bad work. It's not that at all. It's maybe they don't have the resources to put out in security, or they just have done the experience and so on and so forth. This is why we need to work in multiple fields to create that kind of secure IM chat. Because as you've seen, it's half size of the Linux kernel networking stack. It's a lot of code to maintain, especially in C. So they need help if they need. They really, really need help to improve in terms of security. There's a slide share. Go there. It's pretty awesome. Quick analysis of what's going on with Pigeon. All right, so I'm pretty sure you guys know Moxie, Whisper System. So there's this nice quote came out, I think, last year when a new IM chat client on mobile was created. I don't remember his name at all. So there's one thing here. It says they genuinely fucked up. So in terms of own crypto, of course, you shouldn't do that. This is why OTR has been created a while back ago to address a problem, and developers can use it, and they don't have to create their own crypto. So, of course, you create your own crypto. Generally, you fucked up, even though you're cryptographers or developers. Mathematics is kind of close from computing, but there's a big gap in between in terms of security. But the other part is that there's a small community of people. And this is actually changing in the mobile scene. As you see there, those are just some of the mobile secure chat client you can have. So the thing about why we put on the Moxie's quote is it's not like if you want to get involved in creating an IM chat or helping that, it's not because you're a newcomer you're going to fuck it up. It's because they not too much people. So we don't really agree with the Moxie, but again, don't run out your own crypto. So that's the basics. But we need developers to help. The mobile scene is quite impressive also. And we're gonna just talk about one thing here, the Guardian project. So, show hands who knows the Guardian project.
And it's not a newspaper.
No, it's not a newspaper.
It's something different.
All right. So the Guardian project is a small organization that's been created. I think they're based in New York, and one of the maintainers there, Nathan, is someone else. Anyway, it's in the United States. They created this OTR client that goes through Tor also. So it uses Jabber with OTR through Tor on your mobile phone. I just don't remember what's the name, the Orbot or Orweb? Yeah, it's been switched recently, right?
Or Fox now.
Yeah. So this is a mobile metadata issue. And why metadata issue is that with that kind of solution, the metadata problems goes away, where they go to Tor to answer that. Right? If you know the text secure thing, text secure, right? In Redfill, they use, it goes with to SMS with the OTR kind of protocol. And the metadata is still there. So think about it when you use a secure client on your mobile phone. The metadata is very important, especially when we know what they're doing with the metadata nowadays. So yes, Guardian project, it's awesome. They need contributors, so go help them. Yes, all right, cool. MPOTR. So Again, show of hands, who heard about MP-OTR, the discussion about that? So that's kind of something new, right?
A few.
Okay, so MP-OTR means multi-party OTR, means group chat. So as of now, if you, apart from RC or some fancy Jabber room, group chat is pretty difficult. So yeah, Skype made it happen, but we all know what's going on in Skype nowadays. So maybe it's not a good idea to use Skype. So at OHM 2013, 30C3, and real-world cryptography in 2014, there was a lot of discussion with cryptographers and some developers to come up with a solution with the group chat, because in cryptography, this is actually a very hard, I think it's a kind of unsolved situation for this OTR case. And so they came together, they talked a lot, they had sessions, so the two paths that are there are the notes from those two conferences. You can check it out, of course they're open. But the main problem is that when you put a lot of cryptographers in the same room, trying to come up with a solution of MP-OTR, which uses group chats, new requirements. What is a group chat? What's going on there in terms of technicality, language, OS, and so on? Well, this is what happened. So the conclusion was, yes, there's the requirements, some requirements we need. Sorry, we have some problem over there, but in the end, it's just, I want that name on that protocol, and that's it. But MP-OTR is extremely important nowadays, and so CryptoCat started very recently this project plan, and they have very ambitious deadlines to come up with MP-OTR specification. I think it's March or April 2014 of this year to come up with the first draft of the specification after the notes. Thank you. So please check it out. Again, they need help. MP-OTR is very difficult, but it's very important to have it right now. Group chat, secure group chat is very important. And deniability on that thing is a huge issue. This is why MP-OTR is not, it does not exist today, is that putting 100% in a room, talking to each other, and having this deniability feature, and I repeat, deniability is mean I'm not sure who wrote that, but I'm pretty sure it's come from that person, makes it extremely hard. So for the last months, the discussion were, do we drop deniability or not? And again, there's a huge discussion about the legal precedent of deniability and is it useful, blah, blah, blah. But hopefully we try to come up with a solution soon, because this is really, really needed. Just gonna talk quickly about CryptoCat here. Oops. So CryptoCat is inside the browser. So I'm pretty sure you all heard about CryptoCat. There's been some issues with CryptoCat. Of course, if you don't write code, you don't write bugs. So it's inside a browser, it's a plugin. And the name of the game of that was usability and easy access. Because with CryptoCat, you can still stalk and share your delusions on Facebook, and while chatting securely. So this user interface, there was a lot of work in the UX and the UI. I didn't have a slide for that, but they work hard for that. But the problem is that they have, of course, they have security issues, and people are using it. So this is kind of dangerous. So it's a kind of catch-22. You don't have users, of course. You can progress. You can progress and improve, but you need security in the end to have more users. So, but again, CryptoCat, as of now, in terms of group chat, it's the only solution out there, like realist solution in terms of OTR and group chat. So yeah, one does not simply usability property. Yeah, we got that. We do need standalone IM client today. Of course we need, because desktop are still being used, and it's a good thing not to put everything on your mobile phone. So yes, I'm trying to go fast because it's 10 minutes. So yeah, IAMS client, easy migration. So you have a Facebook account that works with XMPP. Well, use that, fine. I will put OTR on that, and that's it. And just don't depend on the web browser also, because this is today's the biggest attack vector. So maybe it's a good idea to have a chat in the web browser, but it's also a good idea to don't have that. So yeah, you remember those in 2000, right? So those are the old AOL, MSN stuff.
Nothing has really changed.
Yeah.
Huh?
So the issue is that nothing changed in 2014. Still here today, nothing's changed. I mean, we still see that kind of interface. But the problem is that you have this new reality now where when you send a message, you don't expect the person to be online or offline. You expect just this person to receive it. So yeah, the text is pretty funny, but there's also one thing here is the date. So I send a message, and then an hour later I send another message, and at some point this person's going to reply. But this means that chat brings asynchronous. The new chat now being used are multiple devices. They sync and async. It's protocol agnostic, basically. Your mobile phone integrates everything nowadays. And so why we are still using those old AOL thing? That doesn't work anymore. So the protocol needs to be improved. As OTR needs to be an MPOTR, and OTR has to be changed, improved to support asynchronous communication, for instance, and stop being that difficult to use in normal client. So last slide. Go check that link. It's pretty awesome. It's the Chat Festo. Thanks with the guy at Leap, the L Encryption Access Project. Chat Festo. It's actually new basic requirements of what a chat is today, and we should think about that to create IM communication software. So yes, I'm going fast, but this is the time we have. Big thanks to Leap. Come on our channel, use OTR, go on OTR and OTR dev if you're interested. This is where the dev happens. Well, use OTR is just to chat the people who create plugins OTR, go on that channel. We bridge developers from different projects there. Guardian project is there, the ADM guy, also SSR, of course. And yes, thanks to Leap, that is helping us a lot. So question time. Can I win with that? Questions? Yes, one here.
Hello. I have a bit of a critique. I've been trying to get into OTR for some time.
You gotta speak a bit louder.
Yeah, sorry. I was saying that I've been trying to use OTR for quite some time. And I knew about the Guardian project, which now they changed the Java client, whatever, which doesn't make OTR easy at all. In fact, it's not clear when your communication is encrypted or not. You can really start it, see if the person is offline, it will not do anything. I was looking, as you spoke, with the main OTR page, and the plugins for many clients, the links are broken. So I think one thing that is important for more people to use this is, it seems that the basic tools to start using it are not ready yet. It seems to me that there's a strong need for this kind of work first, for more people to use it and make it useful.
Yeah, so we agree with you that, so you're basically saying that we need more easy access to understand how to use those tools, those OTR tools, so just maybe fix the broken links on OTR pages and stuff like that.
Yeah, and the software, the main software.
Right, so yeah. So yeah, this is exactly why OTR is being created, is that there's an issue of using OTR in secure IAMs because it doesn't exist right now. So we can't rely on any client as of now, unfortunately. So yes, more access to OTR. Yes, you.
So have you looked into the work done by Open Whisper Systems? They have improved OTR, or so they claim. They've added support for offline communication, they've improved deniability, and messed with the protocol. And second question, is there a planned transition for the OTR to elliptic curve cryptography? Because there's predicted...
Wait, can you repeat this? Because I can't hear.
Is there a transition to elliptic curve cryptography planned for OTR? Because there is cryptapocalypse predicted for the discrete logarithm, and there are drop-in replacements for the primitives used by OTR today that use elliptic curves. So why not migrate to them? Is that planned?
So the question is about
the whisper system OTR thing and then elliptic curve.
So the question is kind of like why OTR isn't using elliptic curve cryptography right now. Yeah, so there has been discussions over the past, I think 1 or 2 years now, about Harder? Louder. So there have been discussions about this for like the last year or so, or 2 years, and there have been some things holding it back, and that's because of patterns, basically. There's been a lot of discussions, especially on the OTR dev list, and the main argument was that if Red Hat didn't want to ship it, or didn't dare to ship it, because they do some elliptic curve stuff, they ship it now again in OpenSSL, but there's a really big issue with patents, that people are afraid to get, prosecuted or whatever. So there are some issues there, but we would like to see it happen, and I hope it will happen soon. Patents might be, gone for some elliptic curve stuff in the next 2 years or so, so maybe then, it's hard to say.
Hi, have you heard about Telegram? It's a new app on desktop.
Yeah, I'm gonna walk next to you because
Okay.
we don't have any.
Okay, I'm asking about
It's fucking
Telegram.
hard.
Telegram, which they have published their own protocol, Telegram.
Right.
And my question is if you think they are kind of newcomers who are fucking it up, or it is really secure because a lot of people is using it. So,
Oh gosh, I actually have no idea. I have to say. Yeah, I've heard of Telegram. I haven't really looked into it in depth. Have you?
Telegram's kind of, they were very outspoken, but Moxie, who you quoted just now, kind of destroyed their protocol in a couple of hours.
There's your answer. Any other questions?
I have two questions. So first, in the case of as an architecture like with Biddleby, you have IRC and Biddleby. Where do you think that OTR should be? Should it be a plugin in Biddleby, or should it be a plugin in the front-end client so that even Biddleby itself doesn't see what you're communicating?
I can answer you right away. So Biddleby, I'm pretty sure, can be set up remotely, so you can access a Biddleby server through the internet. So there you got your answer. You don't have end-to-end encryption if you do that. So use SSR OTR, not Biddleby OTR, just for that reason.
Okay. And the second question, most of the clients you showed have logging functionalities, and I've only found one client where it's possible to, when you go OTR, automatically turn off the logging.
Yes.
Is this something you're planning on doing, or should somebody else do?
We've been discussing as well with the ADM person, who unfortunately isn't here, but he has been working on a new release for a while now, and he has some pretty neat features, including logging disabled. Finally, fucking finally.
There's a debate about that where you say, well, maybe I want to be able to log or not be able to log. So now the consensus is, well, just give the choice not to log.
I think the choice should be that for every OTR conversation you start, you give some kind of screen that says, do you want to log this conversation or not? Or even if it's logged after the fact that you finish the conversation, it should still be in memory and not on the disk itself.
There is also the BitMessage protocol. What are your thoughts on that?
The what?
The protocol of BitMessage.
BitMessage.
It's also a client which aims for metadata hiding email. So basically each message is encrypted with the public key of the receiver, and all the messages are mixed within all the clients. So you don't know who sent the message.
So I think when BitMessage actually got started, I think a year ago or something like that, people looked at it, and I also looked at it, and I laughed at it. I think it got better now, but it's still new. It's still a new protocol, so it needs some time for people to evaluate it and make it better. So all these things take, time to make it better. I've no idea.
I heard that the security model for the multi-party OTR is not fixed because at each conference you don't say exactly the same things. Do you think that you will let some time for the cryptographer to propose protocol when you have the security model, or you will just do with the cryptographers that you have in your team and try something and don't go to the classical academic stuff and publishing and testing.
So is the question is do we plan to use a different threat model for protocols?
So do you plan to publish the security model you want first and let time to different team of cryptographers to propose stuff?
Oh.
Or do you think you just do it yourself?
Well, so one thing here is that if there needs to be changes to OTR, of course we need a long period of time to have
Just
discussion.
multi-party.
Yeah.
I'm just talking for the multi-party OTR.
For the what? Which one?
Multi-party OTR, not for the
multi-party
first
OTR.
one.
So yes, if you go on the CryptoCat MPOTR project plan, there's a reviewers board, there's specification that needs to be reviewed, and at some point it's accepted. So there's a long path away, a long way through accepting the specification, which is trying to use it proof of concept and then getting it accepted. Does that answer the question? I'm not sure.
Yeah, my question was, okay, clearly my question was, is it any chance that other teams of cryptographers can submit something, or is it just already,
No.
there is already people, and so...
You can contribute if you... Okay, so I have no idea how it's working right now at CryptoCat.
Yeah.
But usually it would be good if, yes, there's multiple team of cryptographers looking at it.
Okay,
So, of course, I'm pretty sure they're gonna go that way also.
thank you.
All right, so thank you. Time's up.
Time's
So
up.
if you have any other question, you can see us in front or something else.
Thank you.